The first brave soul has actually never given an Ignite talk before, ever. So, a big round of applause for Jen Robbins. Her talk is, it's 1994, there's this new thing called the World Wide Web.
Okay, I want everyone to take a time machine with me back to the year 1994. And I am giving a presentation to a big publishing conference. Okay, everybody, ready with me? Thank you. Hello, my name's Jennifer Niederst, and I'm a book designer at O'Reilly & Associates. But for the past year, I've been working on this new part of the internet called the World Wide Web. So today I want to talk to you what it's been like making the transition from print design to web design. Now last year in '93, our editor Dale Doherty had a big idea to publish a magazine on this new part of the internet, and he figured that since it had graphics that he would need a graphic designer, and I happened to be at the right place at the right time. So the result of that is Global Network Navigator. And, or GNN for short. This is what it looked like when we launched in '93, and this is what it looks like today. And you can think of it as a gateway or a portal, if you will, to everything that is interesting on the internet. Now, one of the things we publish is the NCSA What's New page, which is a list of all the new web pages each day. And when we started last year, there were only 130 websites in the entire world. They say by the end of this year, there will be 10,000 websites. So it's growing really fast. We also have ads on GNN, and we've been experimenting with ways to put ads on a web page, including putting them in a little frame that say advertisement, so there's absolutely no confusion about what they are. I remember the first time that I saw my first web page. It looked something like this. And I have to say, I really wasn't very impressed. It looked like some sort of clunky word processing program, and I didn't really know what I was looking at, and I didn't see any web. But I found out what I was looking at was the Mosaic browser. There's as well, like this up-and-coming Netscape browser. I also learned that day that under the hood of every web page is a plain text file. And it has little special tags that indicate things like headings and paragraphs and lists, and there are 35 tags in total to choose from. Now, I want to go back to that first experience because my tour guide started the session saying, you know, you probably can't do what you want. I thought, dude, that's a downer. Like, I'm trying to start something new here, right? But you know what? As it turned out, he was kind of right. I couldn't control the fonts. No control over the font sizes. No control over alignment, spacing, columns. Every page was gray with black text, and I couldn't change it, but a user could make it green and purple, and I had no control over that. So I was wondering, well, why do you need a designer at all? You know, I can't decide the things that it's my job to decide. So, but it turns out there's lots to design, right? There's the structure and the site navigation, and there's actually a lot you can do with graphics to create a brand identity on the World Wide Web. So I want to talk to you about graphics. Any image that goes on a web page has to be in GIF format. Unfortunately, Photoshop 2.0 can't make them, so you'll need to use a utility like GIF Converter or Debabbilizer to make them. Also, you have to keep in mind that the vast majority of users have 640 by 480 monitors. So don't make any graphic wider than 600 pixels. And in fact, at GNN, we make our graphics 515 pixels wide, and the pages as well. And speaking of wide, it's much better to make your graphics wide than tall. Since you can't wrap text around, any space next to a graphic is just going to be wasted. That browser Netscape I told you about, though, has its own extensions that allow text wrap, but I recommend don't design something that only works on one browser. Now, finally, when you put your text into graphics, make sure that they're very high contrast, because a lot of people have black and white monitors, and you want to make sure that they can read them. You can see on the bottom right there that you can't read that one at all. And then finally, and most important, keep your file sizes as small as possible, because most people are accessing the web on a dial-up modem. And this is the formula that we use to calculate download times. So you can see it might take 30 seconds for a 28K graphic to download. Now, obviously, this new medium has a lot of limitations, but I've come to embrace them as a challenge, and I have been enjoying that sort of instant gratification of publishing instantly, although it does freak me out that none of these designs hit paper. They're just bits and bytes. But I'm going to put some things down on paper. I'm working on a book that will hopefully help other designers make the transition from print to web as well. But what I want you all to know is that, you know, it's 1994, but it is not too late to get started with web design. You can learn new skills, you can adapt the skills and the tools that you have now, and I suggest that you all give it a try, because from what I hear, this web thing is going to be really big. Thank you.